People didn't realize Eazy E done so much for these rappers. I mean, they were so ungrateful. Like, there's groups you probably don't even remember that was signed to Ruthless Records. They had gotten so comfortable being there and not having to put out any music, they was just getting paychecks for being signed to the label. And they projects ain't even coming out. They not even working anymore. You know, and Eazy E was basically trying to, without N.W.A. or having an N.W.A. album, and by Eazy E not really being a artist, and when he's the biggest face of the label, and he's not putting out music, and your biggest star, your biggest group is gone, then it loses, the label's gonna lose its appeal. They weren't out there getting their newest talent. They got money for their talent, but they didn't have the talent. So now you got to go out there and recruit on the spot to make it work. So they signed a lot of groups during that transitional period that a lot of them took the, you know, they basically took losses off of. Like the Penthouse Players Clique with DJ Quick, putting Quick in that group, saying, you know what, I'm going to reinvent you, put you at the PPC, and I love that album. You know, that was one of the groups that made money, but they were so many groups and people that they had that really wasn't making money for them. And they really, you know, needed people to grind and get on the hustle and want to do things. But when you got people positioning like above the law trying to go work with Suge, and they had actually went over there, and then Suge was like, man, I can't keep y'all because, you know, Eazy got this contract with y'all. So they had to eventually go back. Then you had the situation of guys Eazy E wanted to sell once he discovered Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was it. Off the strength of Bone Thugs and Harmony, this was the turning point for Eazy E. He already had that straight off the streets of MF and Compton coming. It was going to be a double CD coming out, with Volume 1 coming out, then a Volume 2 coming out later on the same year. He was going to have 2 albums come out. Now, that was going to relaunch the Relativity record deal distribution as they split with Priority. So with this new distribution deal in place, Eazy E can make a lot more moves, has a lot more power, because Priority, you know, got greedy and spoiled. But Eazy E understands the business. He understands talent. He understands what it takes to get to the top. He knows what's going to sell and what's not, and what can work when he's out there doing the job himself instead of just signing homeboys to the label. He knew, I got to get out. And this Bone Thugs and Harmony thing just showed me there's people out there trying to talk to us and we weren't listening. We was too busy focused on, let's sign this homeboy right here from the hood. Let's sign this homeboy from the hood. Don't nobody really want to work. And he saw the hunger in those boys' eyes, like they really wanted it. And once he heard them spit, Eazy knew. He said, oh, wait a minute, that's platinum. And he started going around trying to get rappers. And he was looking for his ghetto boys. That's what he was looking for. He wanted to find a ghetto boys type of group. Mine's playing tricks on me. He wanted that. He wanted a group that was what he called the public enemy of the South. Eazy E was 100% behind the entire anything to do with Ghetto Boys in Houston. And what he found was the underground Texas rap. He started working with all these other people. You know, there was Seagram out there from the Bay. He was trying to get a lot of these rappers, you know, on the same thing, on the same label. He had, what's his name, bringing in rappers. Cocaine. He had a lot of Cocaine was writing for a lot of people. But Pluto, you know, players like us taking over. Once he heard that was their name, and he started listening to their music, and it was basically what Dre and them was doing, which was like Penthouse Players, but they was from Texas. And they wasn't talking about being a player from out there in California. It was something different. It's about like 8-Ball and MJG. This is what he was talking about. The 8-Ball and MJG end up just eclipsing Pluto. But Pluto, underground G-Funk, was what people was banging in Houston. We Gon' Ride, Nobody Better. I mean, these rap groups were up and coming at the time. You know, you had South Park Mexican at the time. Eazy E was trying to sign them. He was finna get his, like, he was gonna corner the Latino market, the Spanish rap. Eazy E was coming to take over this whole music industry. And then he was gonna control the distribution end as well. Just like Suge Knight got, he was gonna work on that with Relativity. And he was gonna own his end of the music. And Death Row, he knew wasn't gonna pretty much last with the artists, because they were gonna see once the deals and everything fall apart, you're gonna see how it just fell apart so fast with all of the contracts, the way it was going, and people like, hey, my money ain't right, and this and that. Not to say Suge was robbing him, it was just a lot of people there, a lot of egos, a lot of people seeing the label making money, so they thought, I'm supposed to be getting money. But the thing is, it never works like that with any other record label or any other company. Death Row made it like we all family. You know, even though this is a record label, we all family instead of a business. And if it was made more like a business, then people would understand, like, okay, there's certain things I can't do. But when you make it like family, people always think they got an opinion. They mouth open up, they start yapping. And that was the same thing with Ruthless family, you know. And when they made it a family, and you know how it is when you make something a family, people don't feel like they got to pay. They don't want to pull their weight. And it's not a business anymore. And that's why a lot of black businesses go down the drain. If it's a white company, everybody's like, whoa, gotta maintain and do our jobs. Blacks, man, come on, brother, man, what you doing this for? They don't wanna toe the line. They wanna do what they supposed to do. They go, man, we supposed to be brothers. We supposed to be family. Well, you supposed to be family, then show some respect. Do what you supposed to do for the business. Do right by the business. But that's the way things go. Yeah, there's a list of other artists I just totally forgot. But Eazy E was going to sign a lot of them. But Pluto was one of the most talked about that I knew. That he was trying to sign them in 94. And they were underground. And I think, I don't know, you know, I know he passed and everything in early 95. So who knows if that passing is what did it. He was going to sign a local group here from Chicago. And then they had like this Wu-Tang knockoff thing going on out here. and rap was changing, and Eazy E wanted to be a part of that change. That's why he came to the East Coast and met with these guys out here and got a distribution deal out here coming in New York. Came out here to close that deal because he promised them that it wasn't just gonna be West Coast rap. It was gonna be a variation of different artists. He had a plan, and his album, just like he did when he first launched his label, was gonna relaunch everything. The EP was just that was like the appetizer, and then here come the albums. He's gonna have 2 albums come, boom, boom, and that was that. They were gonna put out another N.W.A. album without Dr. Dre. You already know that. Straight out of Compton, straight lied to you. Dr. Dre was not finna participate in an N.W.A. album. So, I've talked to your head off long enough. I'm going to let y'all go. I don't want to make it too long. I'm out.